Welcome, consultants. Step right into the boardroom. In this strategy explainer, we're going to tackle Cambridge Mathematics 9709 as if it were a high-stakes corporate client brief. I'm stepping in as your managing director today, and we are going to hyper-focus on Probability and Statistics 1. Specifically, we're looking at discrete random variables. Now, we are going to treat your upcoming exam not as some simple pen and paper test, but as a full-blown executive boardroom pitch. The syllabus demands logical, structured reasoning, and my job today is to make absolutely sure your academic portfolio is primed and ready to deliver. Okay, so let's dive straight into this client brief by asking the central question that plagues so many candidates. Why do students consistently lose easy method marks in Stats 1? Why is the specific topic, discrete random variables, literally one of the most misunderstood areas in the entire mathematics syllabus? Well, we constantly see brilliant students acting like junior consultants who just aren't ready for the big leagues. Imagine we have two junior consultants on our team. Let's call them Consultant Alex and Consultant Sam. Now, Consultant Alex has incredible data points. Alex knows the numbers inside out, but completely fails on the executive summary delivery. Just spits out calculations with zero context. On the flip side, we have Consultant Sam. Sam is a highly persuasive speaker, great with the terminology, but totally lacks the physical case study backing, the actual mathematical working to prove the pitch. We have to bridge that gap today. Because here's the thing. The key stakeholders in this scenario, your Cambridge examiners, are explicitly demanding analytical depth over superficial breadth. Take a look at this quote right from the principal examiner reports. They state that top-performing students exhibit connected, conceptual understanding. This means your examiners do not just want a standalone magic number at the bottom of the page. They want to see exactly how you integrate precise definitions and causal relationships across different areas of the syllabus. If Consultant Alex just writes down 0.4, the stakeholders are going to reject the proposal. You have to connect the dots. To get us there, here is our strategy blueprint for today's session. We're going to cover core principles, build out your procedural framework, conduct a live risk assessment, execute some critical analysis, and finally, close out with an executive checklist. Section 1. Core Principles, Taming the Terminology. Let's get our foundational definitions locked in. The absolutely crucial point here is that E of x and var of x form the baseline conceptual understanding you need before applying any complex frameworks. Expected value, or E of x, and variance, var of x, are your fundamental measures. Think about it in a corporate setting. You can view expected value as your baseline projected revenue over time. It's what you anticipate happening on average. Variance, on the other hand, is the measurement of your volatility or your risk. Now, Consultant Sam usually messes this up by talking a big game about risk without actually locking down the math. In the exam room, if you cannot precisely define these fundamental mathematical measures and show their causal relationships within the data, your entire proposal falls apart before you even sit down at the boardroom table. And this brilliantly illustrates why principal examiners are constantly flagging terminology confusion. Binomial and geometric distributions are distinct probability models. You must clearly distinguish between these models before you execute your calculations. A binomial model operates under different fixed conditions, like a set number of trials, compared to a geometric one which waits for the first success. Consultant Alex usually just throws a formula at the wall and hopes it sticks. Don't do that. If you dive into an extended response without strictly defining which distribution applies to the specific context given, you instantly lose the room. Define your terms strictly, verify the conditions, and then deploy. Moving on to Section 2, the procedural framework, the method marks strategy. Now, Alex and Sam often hit a wall here, and we're going to fix their pitch. But before we restructure their approach, I need to pause for a quick, essential directive. To ensure your academic portfolio remains highly competitive, subscribe to our channel, Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams, and enable notifications for our weekly consulting insights. Okay, let's get back to it. Look at this chart. To secure maximum method marks, 100% of your approach must rely on systematically presenting your logical reasoning. Your final numerical answer? That's really just the concluding handshake of a successful pitch. The real value, the actual marks awarded for the process, comes entirely from your clear working and your standardized sequence. The examiners are auditing how you think, not just checking if your calculator has fresh batteries. So here is your standardized corporate workflow. Think of this as your Peel formatting matrix: point, evidence, explanation, link, but customized for mathematics. It's a deconstruct, solve, evaluate framework that is absolutely necessary for tackling unfamiliar contexts. Step 1, identify the given information and extract the relevant data from the text and tables. Step 2, break the problem into logical steps, explicitly selecting your analytical framework. Is it binomial? Is it geometric? State it. Step 3, solve systematically, using clear, undeniable notation. Step 4, check your results for reasonableness. If your probability is greater than 1, you've bankrupted the company. And finally, Step 5, make justified recommendations based on the evidence. If you follow this exact sequence, you lock in those critical method marks every single time. Let's move to Section 3, Risk Assessment, Auditing Examiner Warnings. It's time for a live audience diagnostic. I want you to imagine a 60-second visual timer is ticking down right now. Let's treat this like a live audit and analyze exactly where sample answers lose their structural credibility. Look at these top 3 examiner warnings. They are crystal clear. Case 1, forgetting proper format. The executive fix, apply strict conventions. Don't be sloppy. Case 2, poor presentation. The fix, use proper headings and clear annotations so the examiner can actually follow your thought process. And case 3, this is the big one, the absolute deal breaker, providing answers that are not specific to the context. Your executive fix here is to always draw evidence-based conclusions tied directly to the text provided. Do not just regurgitate a generic textbook definition. Adapt your knowledge to the specific client brief right in front of you. Section 4, Critical Analysis, Structuring the Pitch. Let's see what this looks like in practice. Notice the vast, undeniable difference between an unsupported draft and an authoritative, evidence-based consultant response. On the left side, we have the superficial answer. This is our hypothetical consultant Alex, just listing unstructured, floating calculations with absolutely no context. It's a mess. On the right side, we see the executive answer. This is the gold standard. Extracting data, properly defining the terms E of X and var of X, interpreting the relationships between the variables, and crucially, justifying any limitations or assumptions made during the calculation. This right here, this is what a high-tariff response actually looks like. When executing a comparative analysis in your statistics answers, remember that your stakeholders require you to evaluate alternative interpretations and clearly highlight their effect on your conclusions. Your protocol should always be to identify similarities and differences between datasets or distributions. Use comparative connectives, support every single point with hard evidence extracted directly from the problem, and then draw robust conclusions about their relative importance. Doing this elevates your pitch from a standard pass to a distinguished top-tier result. It fulfills those higher-order assessment objectives perfectly. Finally, Section 5, Closing the Deal, Executive Framework Checklist. Time to wrap up the pitch. Now, to ensure high-tariff memory retention when you're under extreme exam pressure, I highly recommend creating your own custom mnemonic using the core terminology letters. This guarantees you never misapply a foundational formula when the clock is ticking. E for expected value, V for variance, B for binomial, and G for geometric. E, V, B, G. You could use something like every valid business grows, or maybe evaluate variables before guessing. Whatever works for your brain, lock it in so your core concepts are instantly accessible on demand. Treat this checklist as your final compliance audit. This ensures every past paper question is met with the clarity and authority of a seasoned strategy director. First, master your core definitions. Second, relentlessly follow the standardized deconstruct, solve, evaluate sequence we discussed. Third, maintain strict visual conventions. Use headings and precise terminology. And above all else, always link your calculated answers directly back to the specific context provided in the prompt. To make sure your academic portfolio remains highly competitive and you don't miss out on these executive-level breakdowns, hit subscribe on Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams. Enable the notification bell for our weekly consulting insights and drop a comment below with your current study level and your target subject. We are continuously rolling out these masterclasses to help you optimize your exam strategies. I will leave you with this final critical assessment. When you sit down for your next Cambridge 9709 exam, will you just scribble disconnected numbers on a page hoping for the best, or will you step into that room and deliver an undeniable executive-level pitch? The choice and those easy method marks are entirely yours. Thank you for attending this Strategy Explainer Consultants. Now get out there and conquer those past papers.